Testing 1 2, check 1 2. You can't. Testing 1 2. Can you all hear us? Want to make sure you all can hear us before we continue talking.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
In the comments, let us know if you all can hear us. In the comments, let us know if you all can hear us. Let us know if you all can hear us in the comments. Yes, you all can hear us. Excellent, good. All right, everybody, welcome to Before I Do, the show that covers what should be done before I do. For those of you that may be engaged, dating, want to be married, or don't know if you want to be married, you are in the right place.
Right place. My name is Charmaine Jennings.
My name is Walter Jennings. We're excited to be with you all here this evening. We are Couples Academy practitioners, and we are excited to kick off the first ever episode of Before
I Do, and you did that, didn't you?
All right then. Excellent. So, listen, the premise of this show is to talk about those things that are related before you get married. So again, if you're dating, if you're engaged, if you want to get married.
Yes, you don't got the ring yet, but it's on the way.
If you don't know if you want to be married, or if you're just single and you're just in here wanting to figure out exactly what this marriage thing and dating thing is all about, because I heard dating in this day and age is a little different.
It's different. I heard, some situations that come up.
I heard, you're not trying to get caught up out there. But we're going to cover all things related to your premarital dating, engage, all of those things. And tonight's episode,
all right, go ahead and let them know what we're talking about tonight.
Tonight's episode, it's an old school phrase. If I knew then
what I know now.
Now, I know some of you all probably remember those phrases if you sit around some elders, some seasoned folk, as
Mama
you like
now.
to say. Yeah, Mama now. You probably know that phrase really well. So we are excited to get started. We're going to share our If I Knew Then What I Know Now, and we're encouraging you to do the same in the chat. So be sure to light it up. In the meantime, check out this commercial. All right, everybody, welcome to Before I Do. Tonight's episode is If I Knew Then
What I Know Now.
So we have been, you want to tell them how long we've been married? Share a little bit.
Okay, so we have been, this is my boo, y'all. We've been married for 22 years. I'm not the numbers person in the relationship, so I'm going to stop right there. We've been married 22 years. And I was lucky we got married in 2000. So, it's 2022. I'm good. I know how to keep up with the numbers.
I tried to make it easy for you. I really did.
But yes, we've been married 22 years. But guess what? We still date. Yes. So we understand this dating thing, what it means to date, what it means to keep things new, to be spontaneous, to role play and do all of that spicy stuff.
Yeah, so even as we reflect on our marriage and when we think about dating, and especially for those of you out there who, again, may want to be married, what are some of the things that if we could go back and tell our former selves or individuals who are in a situation that a lot of you are in, what are some of the lessons that we've learned now that we would apply to back during our dating phase? So we actually came up with 6 of them. Charmaine is going to share her 3. I'm going to share her 3. And we're interested again in hearing you all. So be sure if you are married or you got some years on you and want to reflect, be sure to put your If I Knew Then What I Know Nows in the comments section. And you wanted to do something really special with those, right?
Yes. So what we're going to do is at the end of the show, first of all, we want you to put it in the chat area. What is your wisdom if I knew then what I know now? We're going to compile all of our little nuggets of wisdom. And, we're artists. Yep. We love fine art. So we're going to create a couples academy, If I Knew Then What I Know Now poem.
And we're going to debut that on next week's show. So if you want to be a part of that, just drop your comment in the chat and we will definitely add it to our chain poem.
All right. So my first one, if I knew then, y'all, what I know now, I would pay close attention to who my partner becomes. Not necessarily
Why you
you.
gotta say it and look at me at the same time? Talk to the
But,
people.
okay, I'm gonna talk to y'all out there. Okay, who my partner becomes when stress shows up. I'm telling you, y'all. Now we have different seasons, right? In the dating game, relationship game, we have the teasing season, we got the pleasing season, squeezing season. We got all of those. But when the season shows up, when that day shows up, when stress is at its all times high, like who does your partner become? I mean, the Incredible Hulk. I'm not talking about him, y'all. All right. Or do they kind of just go in their shell and they just get real quiet? Are they that silent but deadly person? Um, like who do they show up? I can recall not him, y'all, but really a guy that I dated way back in the day before I got married in high school. I almost didn't notice the warning signs that every time we walked in a room, we were, with other people. He always needed to make himself larger than life. And so when we were together, it was quiet, meek, and mild. But when we were in a room with other people, he had to always elevate himself in a way that to me came off as like arrogance. And it was like, ooh. And I could tell for him it was a point of stress. And I didn't realize, he was kind of short in height. And so I didn't really pay attention to that, but it was consistent. He would always brag on all of these things. And it was like I just wasn't even there. And so that was a sign for me that being around other people stressed him out, and he needed to really elevate himself. He needed to really brag on things that to me were just not attractive at all. And so let's just say, that relationship didn't last very long. After a couple of weeks, I didn't make the best choices. We got into an wrestling competition, and yeah, I beat him. And let's just say the relationship was over after that.
Yeah, but when stress shows up, oftentimes we see who a person truly is from the standpoint of difficult situations. And so that is people like to use the term red flag. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a red flag, but it is an opportunity to have, as I'm probably going to allude to one of yours, have a courageous conversation, to have crucial conversations about some of the things that you observe. So really important that when you, to pay close attention to how your partner becomes when they're stressed. So my first one is, if I knew then what I know now, I would value sex as a connection rather than a conquest. And so like most men, I was indoctrinated with this whole idea that my whole existence, a lot of my value was based upon being able to get women to sleep with me and being able to have notches on my belt. And that, and to be honest, like that genuinely like wasn't who I was. But I found myself falling into this whole idea of trying to be attractive to women and pursue women, and sex became like a game. And what happens in that is that it takes so much away from you. And so the connectivity, the intimacy, all of those things become perverted when you have that type of mindset. And so for me, if I could go back, I would tell myself that it's okay to value quality over quantity. That I don't have to succumb to the peer pressure of being like everybody else. If I didn't want to sleep with somebody, I don't sleep with them, and I don't have to worry about, my true friends and individuals that truly love me. It doesn't matter, how many people that I sleep with, or, that's not going to impact how I look in their eyes. And so, yeah, sex was something that was for young men. It's this big thing. It's tied into toxic masculinity. It's tied into, again, popularity and all of these superficial things, when it was not designed. It was not part of God's design. In that way, it was designed to, again, create a sense of intimacy and connection, and to facilitate a broader connection with our mates. So yeah,
I mean, but that doesn't seem to stop at you or begin at you. It seems to be a culture.
Right.
It seems to be a culture, and even a culture we have to shift and change with especially our young males. because we don't want to continue that pattern that sex has to be a conquest, that you just because you're young, I'm in my 20s, I'm a teenager, that you know live your best life. At some point, what do you value and how do you value yourself?
And one of the things that you always mention is you got this kind of conflict between young boys being reared to, you got to get as much as you can get. And then you got young girls being taught, don't give it up,
Don't give it
so
up.
now you got these conflicting messages that are being told to, and both sides know about it. So it's like, which one is right and which one is wrong? And I know you often like to say, remembering that that's everybody is somebody's daughter.
That's right. I remember hearing those things like, fathers encouraging their young boys to, when you gonna get a girlfriend? It's almost like encouraging them to go ruin someone else's daughter. But then I was a daughter, and so then it was like, oh no, you can't come and talk to my daughter. Don't stand in front of the house and talk to a male. And it was just a very different messaging. And so, and it really just creates this conflict where, we expect something that's really not going to happen if we're sending two different messages to our generation.
Absolutely. You're tuned into Before I Do. We're talking about If I Knew Then, What I Know Now. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
All right, welcome back to Before I Do. The episode tonight is If I Knew Then, What I Know Now. The comments section is blowing up. Shout out to Cheryl. Cheryl says that if I knew then what I know now, I would not take communication for granted. Whoa.
All right. That deserves some snaps, Cheryl. And that kind of goes into my next one. Communication, we know, it is an art. It is an art and a science, right? But it definitely is an art because language is an art, right? And so from our lips to another person's ears, by the time the messaging gets processed, there's a lot of things that we have to consider, and why communication is key, and understanding how to communicate. My second point is it really alludes to communication. So if I knew then what I know now, for me, I would really have courageous conversations, not only with the person that I'm dating or the person that I'm engaged to be married to, but really courageous conversations with myself. Oftentimes we really gear ourselves up to say, we think we're a good communicator. We think we're ready to say, can you really have a conversation with a person when the stakes are high? So let's say, what happens if we've been dating for a year, and I love the person, but maybe I'm not physically attracted to them. I love you though. And so maybe being physically attracted to my mate, maybe to me, that's not top on the priority because I'm attracted to you intellectually. I'm attracted to you in all these other areas. So the physical attraction may not be a big thing. Is that important to communicate? It absolutely is. So really just having courageous conversations about, so that you can build that resolve of being truthful, being honest. But I think a lot of times we struggle saying the difficult things because are we saying the difficult things to ourselves? Are we really being truthful and honest with who we are, how we're showing up, and what our needs are in the moment? So those courageous conversations, those are high stakes topics that really could shift your relationship to sweet or tart, And so when it comes to attraction, when it comes to just anything. Maybe I don't want children, you know, but we haven't had that conversation yet. But I'm scared if I say that I don't want children in the relationship, perhaps he will opt out to say no, this relationship isn't going to work.
And I think it's interesting how this one goes hand in hand with your first point about when stress shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes in dating, we try to avoid situations that will ruin the fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to upset the apple cart. I know that's an old saying, but the whole point is that, you know, we have this perspective and this idea of this person that we're dating, and we don't want to do anything that disrupts the picture of them that we want to keep, that we painted in our head of who they are. But we have to recognize that having those courageous conversations, and even I remember when we were dating, there would be topics that came up, and I realized that I would get frustrated because I didn't necessarily have the solution to the problem. Because again, going back to as a man, I have to have an answer. Like she's looking to me for leadership. She's looking for me to have the answer, and I don't have it. And so now frustration is coming out. When what you learn is that she's not necessarily looking for the answer in me, but maybe the answer is between the both of us. Maybe the answer is in our willingness to be able to have the conversation and discover and learn different things about ourselves. And so having those regular courageous conversations are so important.
And a quick just point to that when it comes to communication, when we're working with couples and it comes to communication, we make sure that they identify. The older you get, you realize I have a hidden agenda with what I expect the listener to be doing. So when I come to him with a conversation, it's easier now, right? Now I know to say, hey, this is my expectation for you. I'm sharing this with you to just inform you. I'm sharing this with you because I want to brainstorm some ideas. So I want your opinion. So really just making sure you set your partner up for success as far as what you do expect. Maybe you do want to help them to help you fix a problem. Maybe you don't.
Yeah. And speaking of expectations, it actually goes into my next point. If I knew then what I know now, I would focus on a person's values and principles more than their goals and dreams. Now, we're usually taught, right? Even when we have those first kind of dates, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? You're going to college. Where you getting your degree? And what do you want? And the thing about not just men, but people will sell you a dream. They will sell you the best version of themselves. They'll tell you about how they're going to be the next president. They're going to be a rocket scientist. They're going to do all these great and amazing things. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we can't let that cloud us from identifying how their values and principles are showing up in their life. They're talking about these goals and dreams, but their work ethic, but their integrity, but a lot of the things that they live by are not in alignment. And you see that, okay, you say you want to be a so-and-so, but you ain't been to class in 3 weeks. Okay, you say you want to own your own business, but you you don't want to work for anybody or even learn, or you're not that good with money. And so that's such an important thing, that we not get so caught up and blinded with the person's goals and dreams that we ignore their values and principles. And even what it does is when we notice that a person has strong values and they have strong principles, maybe they falter in their goals and dreams. I remember I was devastated. I was on a certain track when I was in college to accomplish something great that was a part of my goals and dreams. And I just failed. I was devastated myself, but I also thought that, man, Charmaine's going to leave me because I didn't accomplish what it was that I set out to do. But she didn't leave. And I like to believe that part of that was because she wasn't as caught up in what I was trying to do as much as she was focusing on who the person and the man that I was. And that has really kept and really preserved our marriage and our relationship, and making sure that we were focused on that.
So everyone, we walk around with this currency, this relationship currency. It's a value system. And so for me, I valued a person's values and principles. It wasn't what he did when he fell. It's the fact that if you fall 3 times, you better get up 4. And that's who I married. A guy who, hey, if you might have a misstep, but he's gonna get up and he has the work ethic. And so if you are dating, ask yourself, am I with someone that aligns with my currency, the value system that I have? And one way, there's always strategies to be able to kind of identify your your value system in sessions. I do want you to think about somebody who you admire. 3 reasons why you admire that person. Usually that aligns with your value system. Those are the people you're drawn to. And so when you think about, what is attracting you to the individuals you're drawn to, there is something. There's a pattern even that goes way back. And there's a pattern of people that you have excused out of your life as well. So very powerful.
Indeed. You're tuned in to Before I Do. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, we're back on Before I Do. Tonight's episode, If I Knew Then What I Know Now. Be sure to put yours in the chat. I believe we have Miss Debbie and Mr. Jody.
Hey.
All right, so Miss Debbie, Mr. Jody said, I would make sure that there were no betrayals between the two of us, no lies, because you could ruin the connection you created between the two of you. And so that's very important. How you start oftentimes is how you finish, but you can get over anything if you have, again, those principles and those values, and you know who you're married to. So
and no relationship is flawless. Things are going to happen.
Right.
But again, the recovery piece, there's power in that. There's power in what we learn about ourselves in that recovery piece.
All right.
So if I knew then what I know now. Now, this is, y'all, after you get that ring on your finger, maybe before you get the ring on your finger. So this one is, if I knew then what I know now, I would learn. I would get so many tools to put in my toolbox on how to deal with, I got a symbol clap on this, with the in-laws, okay? Just in-laws, okay? Legal in-laws.
In-laws, outlaws.
Outlaws sometimes, in-laws sometimes. Man, there are certain patterns and trends in your relationship. So I do want to ask, do you know, first of all, when you're dating somebody, if you're engaged right now, are they the oldest child? Are they a middle child? Are they the youngest child? If you date a younger child, the youngest child, all right. If you date a male in particular whose mom is like very attached, well, we got some support groups, y'all, out there. I'm just saying. All right. But no, if you date a guy or a girl and their families, they have great, strong, big, tight-knit families, or even if they have a small family, but they're all close, you really have to have some strategies for that, because sometimes there are these toxic expectations. Sometimes they're good, but sometimes there's expectations for that you've married into our culture. You have married into an ecosystem that we're not going to let you interrupt, because if you shift the culture, or you shift what we have going on, it's going to interrupt everyone else's. So strategies for the in-laws. So it's one of those things where, I'm a down south girl. So there was this song called, there was a kind of a hip hop break where we were like, hold up, wait a minute. And in my mind, I would really repeat that process. Like, oh, are you guys going to visit for Christmas? Hold up, wait a minute. If we hadn't talked about that before, then I'm not going to give an answer. I said, oh, well, we'll think about that and we'll let you know. As opposed to thinking you have to have a response immediately. Well, are you guys coming for Thanksgiving? When are you guys going to have children? Well, just even being able to say that that's something that we haven't discussed yet and we're not yet ready to share. I didn't have those skills. I always felt like I had to have an answer. I always felt like I I didn't know how to say, mind your business. I was young. So when we got married and we were engaged, I was young. How you tell your elders who should know better and not asking people certain private questions to mind their business? And you definitely don't do that to the in-laws. So there were just certain boundaries that were crossed. They got even more challenging when we had children. I mean, it just, the scales went up. So really those strategies include you two have to be on the same page.
Absolutely.
You have to, it's like the pregame conversation. We got a game plan before we're around family, before we're around public events. You really talk those things through. And we do help couples script those things out. When you're about to go to events, holidays, anything around your future family, the in-laws, not outlaws, the things that you want to be prepared to do, and making sure that you two are a united front.
I'm just hoping certain people don't get hold to this video.
I love my mama. I love my mama.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I'm married into a great family.
I did too.
So my last one. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have pursued dating everyone I was attracted to.
Ooh.
And so this was actually a lesson that I learned with my oldest daughter. My daughter was really excited about dating. And she was like, when can I date? When can I date? And we always told her when you turn 16. Yeah. And part of the rationale was we wanted her to learn how to start dating and interacting with people in that way while she was still under our roof.
That's right.
Not after she got out, now she's on her own trying to navigate how to have intimate relationships without having that system right there accessible for her. So I realized, and I would tell her that what you want to do is you actually want to be friends with people first to even see if there's someone that you want to date. So it's like this whole idea of I'm attracted to somebody, I like them, and then jumping into a relationship, that may not be a good idea. That might not be a good look.
And to clarify, friends, not friends with benefits.
Yeah, this whole things of friends with benefits, that just convolutes and complicates things even more. So for me, just being able to admit that I might have been attracted to someone, but letting myself observe a little bit, because something can look good for you on the outside, but then when you start noticing some behaviors and some attitudes and the way people kind of move, you're like, nah, I don't think this is someone that I want to pursue dating. So and those type of pauses, I realized would have kept me out of a lot of relationships with people that I never should have been in relationship with in the first place. That should have been kept at a distance, where it's like associate or hey. And so, if I had to do it over again, I would not have pursued dating everybody that I found myself attracted to, no matter what I was attracted to. And so,
and that's the question.
Yes.
What are you attracted to? Because some people, they are more interested in what they see on the outside, as opposed to what's going on the inside. For me, it was really powerful to, if I can have a conversation with a guy, and we talk about, just that connection, that level of intimacy. If you're talking to someone and it's like crickets and you're struggling to really make that connection. For me, it didn't matter how fine you were. It didn't matter if you got, the six pack and you just got the complexion and the glistening out. All of that stuff didn't matter if you couldn't have an intellectual conversation with me and just,
Well, it's a good thing I'm the whole package.
You better.
I'm just gonna grab that and run with it. Thank y'all for being here. This has been recorded, and you tuned in. Before I do, y'all hold tight.
Hey everybody, Danielle Pettiford here, and I am so excited to invite you to our upcoming masterclass entitled An Inside Job. Now, this masterclass is special because you guys have been asking for it. And we have been doing a lot of discussing about the Enneagram and how you relate with your spouse and how they really relate to you and the lenses and the perspectives that we all have that differ. But maybe you still feel stuck individually. Maybe for you, you know that you're not operating as your best self. Well, there is a roadmap that leads you right back to you, and it's a very individual journey, but we all can take it together. I'm so excited about this masterclass. I'm excited about showing you how to live a life without fear, without anxiety, without anger, and for you to understand that God already had a plan for you when He put you on this planet. He knew who He had designed you to be, and it's for you to do the digging and discovering to find out who that is so that you can live the best life at the highest calling that God designed for you. So I hope that you will join us in this masterclass. I can't wait to see you there.
All right, it is your last chance to put in the comment section, what is your phenomenal if I knew then what I know now? We're going to compile all of your responses, and we're going to create a poem out of it that we'll reveal and release to you next week. So go ahead, put in the comments, if I knew then what I know now. And also a quick reminder, come back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, same time, because Danielle Pettiford, our CEO of Couples Academy, she will be on tomorrow night, helping us to better understand ourselves. We show up better in a relationship when we know who we are. And also be sure to tune in Saturday. Sign up for the masterclass this coming Saturday.
That Enneagram is a game changer.
Powerful.
If you really want to get a better understanding and grasp on who you are, and also a better understanding and grasp on who your partner is,
That's right.
Tune in tomorrow night, 9 p.m. for the Enneagram, and also sign up for the masterclass. Listen, Monday through Thursday, go ahead and mark your calendar. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Lock it in.
Subscribe.
You need to be right here on the Couples Academy channel.
Share.
It's going to be going down also on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. and on Friday mornings at 9:30, the Couples Academy show. Sunday, you have Danielle and Hassani with their show as well. We have been so excited. Hopefully you all have enjoyed. Before I do our title for our topic for tonight, if I knew then what I know now, this has been Walter Jennings.
I'm Charmaine Jennings.
And we will see y'all next time. Peace, everybody.